So we are very happy and excited to have Ashraf Habibullah here as our keynote speaker. Ashraf Habibullah से मेरी मुलाकात last year हमारे national event में हुई. He is an amazing speaker, a natural entertainer, and a show stealer. इनकी स्पीच के बाद मुझे ख्वाहिश हुई कि हम अपने एनुअल डिनर में इनको बुलाएं. But I heard he is a very busy guy, a really big shock. इतने छोटे छोटे इवेंट्स में नहीं आता. But it was so nice of him, so kind of him, that he accepted our invitation and came to Dallas. And आज अशरफ हबीबुल्लाह हमारे साथ यहाँ डैलस में मौजूद हैं. अब हादी साहब इनका किताबी तारुफ कराएंगे.
Being a structural engineer, I have heard Ashraf Habibullah's name for, I think, probably 30 years back. And I've seen his ad on American Society of Civil Engineering magazine. Every issue you see on the back of the back page, there's an ad of CSI. And it's a permanent feature of American Society of Civil Engineering magazine. And I always thought, Ashraf Habibullah name looks like he's from Pakistan. And in my mind, the image of Ashraf Habibullah was he must be a professor type person who has developed this very detailed and very strong structural engineering program. And this first time I met him was last year in Houston, in NED convention. And my impression of Ashraf Habibullah changed 180 degrees. He was not even close to being a professor type. So, Ashraf Habibullah is a graduate of NED. He did his graduation in civil engineering in 1969. And then he came to America and he did his master's from University of California at Berkeley in 1970. And then I think in 1975, he started his company, Computers and Structures Incorporated. And since then, he has been the CEO of this company. A very successful company. His program, as Javed was saying, is used by almost all structural engineering firms in America and all over the world. Just to give you an example, I work for a company called Stantec, and we have about 60 offices between Canada and America, and I'm one of the principals. So we were 2 years back, we were trying to unify all the computer programs which is used in all these different offices. So we form a committee to decide which program we want to use in all these offices. And Ashraf, I was proud to see that your program was picked, and we bought several copies of your program to be available for all these offices. So with that, I will invite Mr. Ashraf Habibullah for his keynote speech. Thanks.
Well, what can I say? They've set me up with this incredible introduction, and I just hope that I can live up to it. Well, let me start by saying that I'm so extremely happy to be here. I love coming to these conventions because it's not only that I get to meet so many of my old friends, but more importantly, I love meeting all of the young graduates of our university, because I'm going to be 70 next year. I've been in the structural engineering business for nearly 50 years, but I plan to be around for another 50 years. So all of the people that I graduated with, most of them are already retired. So I have no choice but to come and connect with the younger crowd, because let's face it, you are the people that are going to be using the software in the future. So in as much as that I'm going to talk about a lot of things that apply to all of us, but I really want to focus on the younger crowd because you are not just the future of engineering, you are the future of humanity, and I want to talk about a few things associated with that. But first, I want to kind of just talk about why I feel so wonderful when I come to a gathering like this, is because we have such incredible history. I mean, I had such incredible times when I was at NED. And they have nothing to do with engineering, because I was a really, really bad student. I mean, my first year, I had supplementaries, which essentially means you flunk the classes, you know. And I was not a good student at all. I mean, my parents were math professors. My father was a math instructor at the military academy in Kabul. My mother was a mathematics professor at St. Joseph's College. And then there was me. And I would hear all the time that you are such an embarrassment to the Habibullah name. Aur tera kya banne wala hai? Tu to chamar banega. I mean, in those countries, there's no concept of child abuse or psychological damage. I mean, they just tell you like it is, you know. I mean, I remember even as a young kid, you know, when we all went to Catholic schools, right? Those were the good schools. So, but in order to get into a Catholic school, you had to take a test. And all of my brothers and sisters got in at the first time. They took the test and they got in. Okay, I had taken the test 4 times and I had still flunked. Now remember, this was the time of martial law. My dad was a colonel in the army. So the father, Theodotus Polman, calls my dad, you know, it was a Catholic school. He calls my dad and he says, Colonel, I want you to come talk to me because I don't want you to think that we have something against your kid. So can you please come and have kind of like an interview? So my dad comes in, he takes me in with him, and the father shows him my English test. Okay, so in the English test it was relatively simple. It's like, okay, what's the female of his? Female of his is her, right? What's the female of a dog? Well, of course, I wrote doggy. I hadn't learned the B word yet. भाई उर्दू में होता है ना, लड़का है, लड़की है, कुत्ता है, कुत्ती है, dog है तो doggy है. But the clincher wasn't even that. The clincher was they asked, what's the female of a monk? Nun, right? Monk का female nun होता है. वो मैंने लिख दिया जी monkey. My dad looks at me and he says, you know, I think you're stupid. You're trying to get into a Catholic school and you say the female of a monk is monkey? No, no. I don't think you're stupid. You are stupid, you know? So that's my history. Now, when you come along and say all these incredible things about me, you can tell that if I can do it, anybody can do it, you know? It really is true. Because when I was in school, when I was in NED college, I had no interest in studies. My interest was food. भाई बंस रोड के कबाब, रीगल सिनेमा के छोले, पैराडाइज सिनेमा के गन्ने का रस और दिल्ली मुस्लिम होटल की निहारी और ब्रेन मसाला. Who the hell eats brains? I mean, it's so disgusting you think about it now, but man, we used to pig on that stuff, you know? Bunce Road. वहां होते थे बुंदू खान, वो बंस रोड के रेस्टोरेंट. वो दूध मिलाई के मर्तबान और फ्रेस्को की दुकान, वो कुल्फी खीर कबाब और नान थे सब बीमारी के सामान। ओ बाबू हो जाना फुटपाथ पर, ओ बंदर रोड से की माड़ी मेरी चली रे घोड़ा गाड़ी, ओ बाबू हो जाना फुटपाथ पर। I mean, these were the things that we did. There was no interest in studies. The other interest was pretty girls and songs. You know, I mean, one of the things, the biggest gift that NED gave me was how to live outside your comfort zone. You know, Urdu में जिसको बेशर्मी कहते हैं. You know, I mean, we had no shame. There was no concept of shame. We used to go hang out in front of girls' colleges. वो लड़की आ रही है, अशरफ गाना गा, गाना गा, जल्दी गा, निकलना जाए. तुम पे हजारों की आंखें, चाहिए तुमको सहारा, पलकों में आके छुपा लूं, नाजुक तन है तुम्हारा, आजा 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 आजा. You know, I mean, this is what we would do. There was just amazing times, you know. There was no, I mean, studying was like the farthest of from, at least from my mind, in the first year, because मैं आया था grammar school से. This is what NED did to me. I came from grammar school. अब grammar school के जो होते हैं ना, वो अपने आप को, they are a higher level of human being. DJ कॉलेज और ये आप दूसरे जो फटियार किस्म के कॉलेज से भर्ती होके आते हैं ना, they are nothing. Grammar school. अच्छा मैं आया जी ग्रामर स्कूल से, पतलून मेरी टाइट जैसे अभी है, बूट पाए हुए, मोटी बेल्ट. सबसे पहले अजीजुल हसन साहब कहते हैं, भाई ब्रिगेडियर साहब आप यहां को पढ़ने आए कि बादशाही करने आए? You know, I mean, they're deflating you, you know. और फिर you think that you know everything. You don't study. That's why first year में छुट्टे के साथ ही physics में supplementary. Physics में, are you kidding me? Give me a break. It completely deflates your ego. ज़मीन के ऊपर. You are flat, shanty flat on the floor. You know, there's no ego left. You are completely demoralized. और फिर उसके ऊपर से ये जो नया भर्ती होके आता है ना, खास तौर पे if they're different. अब मैं तो हीरो था, वो देख लो वहीद मुराद के मेरे बाल थे, दिलीप कुमार की चाल थी, you know. I mean, I was this, you know, I was something. वहां होता ये है कि जब when you are different, वो छुट्टे के साथ ही आपका नाम पड़ जाता है. एक भाई दुबले पतले थे, उनका नाम जुलूस रख दिया उन्होंने. एक भाई साहब की मुंह कुछ थोड़ा चपटा था, उसका नाम चपटा रख दिया, जफर चपटा. मेरा क्योंकि मेरी नाक लंबी थी, मेरा नाम रख दिया कौवा. Whenever I entered a room, you know, it's humiliating. But you see, the thing is that when you learn about humiliation, when you learn to deal with it at a younger age, you never end up on a shrink's bed. You learn how to deal with these things, and that's what we learned. There were amazing times. I mean, हम लोग जाते थे म्यूजिक कॉम्पिटिशन्स में, you know, म्यूजिक कॉम्पिटिशन में भाई लोग पूरे पूरे ऑर्केस्ट्रा लेके, तबलची बैठा है, हारमोनियम बैठा है. हमारा एक खालिद ताई हुआ करता था, you know, अभी भी है, you know, वो जाता था लंडा बाजार से बड़ा सारा घड़ा लेकर आता था. वो घड़े के ऊपर वो टंग टंगा टंग टंग तबला बजाता था और मैं गाता था. That was our instrument. And we would win. We would win. But you know, to have, you know, to be able to do things that are outside your comfort zone, it's an amazing thing. And that's what I want to talk to you young people about. That if you are doing things that you are absolutely comfortable with, and you stay in that environment, you are learning nothing new. It's about public speaking. You know, I get up in front of 5,000 people now and I can speak. But I remember there was a time when if there were two people sitting across the table and I was the one speaking, I would have sweat running down my back. I remember the time, for those of us that know me, know that I ran a ballet company for 13 years. I was board president. And what would happen is that they would put me out there. They would put me out there, 2,000 people in the audience. Ashraf, you're the president of the ballet, you've got to welcome them. Ab ye to engineering company, most of my audience is engineering. They know that I'm a CSI president and, you know, I've done all this. So they have a certain amount of deference that they accord you. But when you're out in the public, they don't know you. I mean, if you don't say the right thing, they could throw tomatoes at you. Okay, so I show up on the stage, and I'm completely frozen. I completely forgot what I was going to say, and I have sweat running down my nose. You know, in the orchestra pit, there's the conductor ready to start his music. He screams at me and he says, "Tell them you are happy they are here." Good idea. And then I said that. But you see, I was determined that I would not let that get in my way. And that's why, you know, I look forward now to having audiences like this. And to me, this is just a celebration. To me, these things are opportunities to make more friends. I leave tonight with 200 new people, you know. I mean, it really is a celebration. In fact, this is always a party for me. Oh yes, we're talking about party. Where's my jacket? Yeah. Oh yeah. Let me. This is what's called besharmi. Let me show you. ये आपके लिए मैं खास बनवा के लाया हूं. I hope it works. Okay. Now let me tell you a little about this jacket. I think every keynote speaker should have a jacket like this. Let me tell you why. When you have a jacket like this and you come to speak to an audience, one thing happens. You can get up here and say anything that you want. Nobody's listening anyway. They're focused on the jacket. It's even better than that. You get invited everywhere. भाई हमारा भी function हो रहा है. आप आएंगे? They don't care. ये जो बोलते हैं ना Ashraf Habibullah ये है, Ashraf Habibullah वो है. Got nothing to do with that. They saw me at the Houston convention with this jacket. And they said, भाई हमारे पास भी आ जाए. It's even better than that. You know, I'm a structural engineer, right? And you know, structural engineers work for architects, you know. And you know, architects treat them as a necessary inconvenience. They don't really like them, because architect भाई तो चाहता है column कोई भी ना हो, खुला मैदान हो. Structural engineer कहता है column चाहिए ताकि building खड़ी हो. There's a thing called RTC, Rapid Technology Conference. Phoenix में होती है, 600 उसमें architect. You know what they did? They invited me as the keynote speaker and paid me $10,000 to speak for 32 minutes because somebody somewhere saw my lighted jacket. It was pretty true. I mean, yes, you have to talk about something, but this is what I told them. And I got up there and I told them, I said, you know, you architects, if it weren't for the structural engineers, you would all be in jail. They paid me $10,000 to hear this shit. But you see, that's the magic of the jacket, you know. So I wear it everywhere. I go to engineering conventions, and everybody loves it. I get invited at graduation ceremonies at big universities, Berkeley, Stanford, and they all want me to come with my jacket. बेशर्मी की इंतहा है कि नहीं? But you see, when this thing about getting out of your comfort zone is so incredibly powerful, because when you're out of your comfort zone, you know, कहते हैं ना कि जी I haven't found my passion, so I'm going to first find myself. तो अब मैं 1 साल तक जरा आराम करूंगा, जरा find करूंगा. मेरे बच्चे जब आए थे फाइंड करने के लिए, मैं तो झापड़ मार के मतलब तू यूनिवर्सिटी जा और जब 4 साल करके इंजीनियरिंग की डिग्री हो जाएगी फिर पूरी उम्र फाइंड करते रहना, you know. But you see, this about finding your passion is an interesting concept. You see, you have no idea what your passion is. What you have to do is get out of your comfort zone and try everything. And what you will find, there will be that one thing that is your passion. In other words, your passion will find you if you give your passion a chance. See, I didn't want to be a structural engineer. I wanted to be a rock star. I came to America to put Elvis Presley out of business and hopefully run away with Mary Tyler Moore. When that seemed like that may not be happening, I took my father's advice and I went to NED. And when I came to NED, then I found out what an amazing profession. And let me tell you why I found that out. That's also not rocket science. You know, I believe one fundamental thing, that, what do I do in the water? I brought a water bottle up here. Where? And listen to this. This is so very important. Human beings, I believe, and this is not just my belief, it's a fact. Human beings are created for one fundamental reason. And that fundamental reason is to make someone else's life better. This is not religion. It's not about getting bonus points in heaven. It's not voodoo. And it's not anything that's a cult. This is human chemistry. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. For those of us that study human chemistry, know that. But we are engineers. We don't study human chemistry. We don't know anything about that. But that is a fundamental fact. And the beauty about engineering is that engineering makes life better for all of humanity on a daily basis. That's why I love engineering, and that's the contribution that you guys have to humanity. I mean, look at, even if you just take structural engineering, let's just take one branch. I mean, with all the retrofit work that they do, fixing up old buildings, they're preserving the past. With all of the new design work that they do, they're building the future. But more importantly, They're in the business of saving lives. They protect humanity from the ravages of earthquakes, windstorms, hurricanes. I mean, that's the power of engineering. I mean, and somebody, there's so many things that piss me off. One of the things that really pissed me off is somebody said, Obama won the Nobel Peace Prize many years ago, and I said to the person, I said, it'd be nice if an engineer won the Nobel Peace Prize. And this lady sitting at dinner with me, she says, what the hell do engineers do about peace? They have nothing to do with peace. And I'm like, okay, if a windstorm hit New York City and all of those buildings toppled over, all the bridges fell down because they were not designed right, what would happen? People couldn't get to their jobs. There would be no food delivered. You think there would be peace? People would be eating each other. Then how come nobody has ever even talked about an engineer being even a candidate to getting a peace prize? I tell you why. I tell you exactly why. There's a research project at the Carnegie Institute of Technology. You know what they say? They say that for success and influence and money, technical knowledge only contributes 15% to your success in that arena. The other 85% is from human engineering. You know what human engineering is? Human engineering is human psychology. To understand how do you make other people like you? Human chemistry. What makes you happy? How to get along with people. How to make people do exactly what you want them to do. It's about leadership. It's about public speaking and marketing. 85% of your success is based upon that. Your technical knowledge is only 15%. And if you go into an engineering convention, they're all talking about engineering. There's not a single thing about human engineering. You are limited to your 15%. They have sharpened your 15% so much, but you're never going to get beyond that. It's about music. It's about art. I mean, I know how much impression I make. When I go to, let's just talk about the power of music. When I go to a foreign country, like say any Spanish-speaking country, I start जैसे अभी मैंने शुरू किया ना, I started with Banda Road se Kemadi. What did that do to you guys? It connected you. And you know why you got connected? Because you got an oxytocin rush, and I'll talk more about that. A hormone was generated in your brain, which created this warm feeling. You instantaneously wanted to connect with me. In fact, you were clapping along with me. So when I go to a Spanish-speaking country, after you've said whatever you want to say, you break out into a Spanish song. I've learned track number 14 on Jennifer Lopez's On the 6th CD. So I just go, Yo nunca pensé que pudiera querer con esta pasión que me quema la piel. Volar por tu cuerpo es el cielo tocar. Quiero contigo llegar una noche más. Oh, oh, oh. And you know what that does? Everybody is like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. It's got nothing to do with engineering. People will buy a lower quality product from somebody that they trust. You could have the best product in the world, but if they trust you and you give them this warm feeling, I just don't understand that why Why don't they make human psychology mandatory? They teach you how to read and write, but everybody that you deal with is a human being. The people that love you are human beings. More importantly, the people that don't agree with you, that even to the extent that they hate you, those are human beings. What does it take to make a person like you? What does it take? It's simple. People like you for only one reason. It's not about you. It's about how they feel about themselves when they are in your presence. If you can make a person feel like $1 million, they will come back to you time and again and again. But if we studied human psychology, we would know that, which we don't. So we don't know. I mean, when I go out to do seminars, I talk about really complex technology. I mean, some of the stuff that we market is very, very complicated, but I present it in real simple terms that anybody can understand. And people wonder, oh my God, I took a PhD class in this and nobody explained it to me that way. When they learn something that they never could understand before, they're empowered. They get a serotonin rush. It makes them feel so good about themselves that at that point, you can sell them horse shit and they will buy it. But if we studied human psychology, we would know that. Don't talk about yourself. Don't talk about who you are. It's immaterial. Talk about what they are. And it works for all things. It works for your girlfriend and your boyfriend, your husband and your wife. You make the other person feel that they are the centerpiece. Your employees, because right up there with the need for food and clothing is the need to be appreciated. If your employees constantly are feeling that that they are the centerpiece of this company, they will never leave you. And then, I've got so many things to cover, I just want to be a little organized. This whole concept of belief. Those that know me know that I travel all across the world and I teach courses on earthquake engineering. And I remember maybe 30 years ago, I was teaching a course in New York City. And it was a course on earthquake engineering, and some female engineer, young engineer that had graduated 4 years ago, came to attend my class all the way from Argentina. She went back and she wrote me this incredible letter, because in my classes, I teach a lot of technology, but I also talk about this stuff, humanity, human relationships, human chemistry, psychology and stuff. Okay. So she, and the importance of engineering, I talked about how incredible this profession is. So she goes back and she writes me this incredible note, which to this day brings tears to my eyes. And she said to me, I came back from America and today was the first time in my professional life that I went to work with a sense of passion and purpose associated with what I do. Okay, so my question is, what have we achieved as educators if we have taught her mechanics of materials, structural dynamics, theory of structures, but we have failed to instill in her a sense of purpose and passion associated with what she does? We have completely failed her. It is so important to have beliefs. Beliefs are just, you have to decide in your life, what do you believe in? Like, I believe that my profession is the most incredible profession that humanity ever created. That is my belief. And I've got many, many other beliefs, but that's one of them. And what's the beauty about, and why is it important to have beliefs and then talk about them? Because when I talk about my beliefs, what happens when you talk about your beliefs, you attract other people that have the same beliefs that you have. Like my hat. When I walk down the street, I see another person wearing a similar hat. I say, hey, nice hat. And the guy say, yeah, nice hat. Similarly, if you have 10 people, they say, man, what a hat. You get a bunch of engineers together talking about structural engineers if they really believe. And if you talk about your beliefs with passion, what happens? You convert other people that didn't believe what you believe into believing what you believe. And the beauty about that is that when people believe what you believe, they will do what you want them to do without you asking them, because that is what their belief is. They will give you more money not because you asked for it, because they believe you deserve it. And if you keep doing this over and over again, pretty soon you develop a cult. And you get everything that you want, but it starts from you with having beliefs. And especially when you have to hire people. When you hire people just for the money, they will do a good job, you're paying them. But the moment the money runs out, they're gone. But if you hire people that believe what you believe, they will work with their blood, sweat, and tears. You will never have to tell them to work, because they will continue to work even when the money has run out. They love the stuff so much that they're willing to even do it for free. I mean, that's the job you need. People ask me, when are you going to take a vacation? My whole life's a vacation. I don't need a vacation. I go to work 7 days a week. You know? Money is not a destination for those kind of people. Money is a resource to arrive at a higher destination. But these are the kind of things that you young folks need to learn. If you are in a situation right now where your job sucks, you need to step out of your comfort zone. People stay in their jobs because it's comfortable. ये मैं यही कर सकता हूँ और अगर नहीं करूँगा तो मेरी रोटी पानी बंद हो जाएगी. Well, let your roti pani band ho fai for a day. It won't kill you. It's scary. But change needs. Your solutions are in the dark. You need to step into the dark. एक पुरानी कहानी है हमारी कि मौलाना साहब थे, उनकी घर की चाबी गुम हो गई. वो जमीन पे ढूंढ रहे हैं झुक के, भाई घर की चाबी कहाँ गई, घर की, where's my key, where's my key. तो एक सूफी साहब आए, कहते जी मौलाना साहब आप क्या कर रहे हैं जमीन के ऊपर? कहते जी मेरे घर की चाबी गुम हो. तो कहता मैं भी जमीन पे झुक के तुम्हारे मदद करता हूँ to find it. ढूंढते रहे, फिर सूफी साहब पूछते हैं मौलाना साहब ये चाबी आपने गुम कहाँ की? वो कहता है घर के अंदर गुम हुई थी. तो आप यहां क्या देख रहे हैं? घर में अंधेरा है. The solution to your problems are in the areas which are scary, dark, and dingy. But once you learn how to step out of your comfort zone and stay in there, it will be scary. But one thing is for sure, you will never say that you are bored. You know? So that's something, you young people really need to, and that is the biggest advantage that I've had. If I look back over my 70 years, the biggest thing that my friends at NED gave me is to make me a beshara. And, we would do things. जब भी मुशायरे होते थे, ये शेर लिख के लाते थे लोग, कहते अशरफ तू पढ़, बिकॉज द शेयर्स वर स्टूपिड। एक भाई साहब हमारे शकील हैदर साहब होते थे, ये शेर मुशायरा हो रहा है, इसमें ये तू शेर पढ़ जा। मैं पढ़ लेते हैं क्या? I mean, listen to what शेर is, amazing शेर। छोटी डिब्बी डिब्बी, बड़ी डिब्बी डिब्बा, छोटी डिब्बी डिब्बी, बड़ी डिब्बी डिब्बा, गौस खां की मां का, गौस खां की मां का शौहर, गौस खां का अब्बा। आया हूं बड़ी दूर से, खाता हूं पुदीना, आया हूं बड़ी दूर से, खाता हूं पुदीना, ओ तेरे हुस्न की गर्मी खा के मेरा छुट गया पसीना। इस तरह के शेर, you know, they would do these kind of things, you know. And then life was simple in those days. You know, I mean, we used to sing. Every reason we had, there would be a song. आपको याद होगा उस जमाने में एक साबुन हुआ करता था, ऊंट मार का साबुन। ऊंट मार का साबुन आता था। It used to be soap that you bought in a bar in length. It was like a bar of soap that is like 24 inches long. And you would cut a piece of it and you would wash your hands and wash your face and stuff. Cut a bigger piece and you would wash your clothes. Same thing. Cut an even bigger piece and you wash your car. You just had the same soap that did everything. You know, you wash your hair with it, you shower with it. And I had beautiful hair. You saw my hair. Who changed my slide? Put back my beautiful hair. Look at the hair I had. I mean, I had so much hair from that soap that the barber had to put a कैंची which had that thinning. कैंची होती है ना जो कि कंघी की तरह होती है, to thin your hair. That's what they used to use on me. फिर मैं अमेरिका आया, यहाँ मैंने शैम्पू लगाया, कंडीशनर लगाया, और फिर ये हाल हो गया. I mean, you know, but those were the days. Those were the days. And फिर गाने, अरे यार क्या गाने, मोहम्मद रफी के गाने. I mean, there will never be a singer like that. You know, he had a song for everything, you know. And all of those are so applicable today. With all this unrest all across the world, all this hatred. I mean, he had a song, प्यार की राह दिखा दुनिया को, प्यार की राह दिखा दुनिया को, रोके जो नफरत की आंधी, रम परम परम परा. I mean, so applicable for today. That's what we used to sing. We sing it in the streets. And then, आजकल के बच्चे कितने बदतमीज होते हैं. I mean, you know, this thing about not to say anything to the kid, क्योंकि जी उसकी psychological damage हो जाएगी. You know? It's insane. You know, हमारे ज़माने में तो भाई हमारे वालिद साहब कहते भी गिलास का पानी का गिलास लेके आओ, मेहमान आया, मेरा दोस्त बैठा है, इसको पानी पिला दे, या शरबत लेके आओ, कुछ भी लेके आओ. You would get it in a glass and then you would hold the glass like this. Okay? Not like this, because he's going to pick it up that way. Your hand better not be in the way. And you would stand like this for an hour. They're talking. You better not say, hey, the water is here. No. You stand and he will take it when he is ready. Now, I think that's child abuse. But that's what we used to do. और जनाब कोई भी बुजुर्ग घर में आए, आप खड़े हो जाते. मैं एक दिन गया एक भाई साहब के घर में, नहीं, मेरी मदर इन लॉ, उन्होंने खाने पे बुलाया. अच्छा, अब मेरे दो बच्चे हैं, एक बच्चे की पिटाई मैंने की थी दूसरे के आगे, एक दफा सिर्फ. दूसरे की कभी पिटाई नहीं करनी पड़ी, तो पता चल गया बादशाह कौन है इस घर का। ये भाई साहब मेरी मदर इन लॉ के घर में, उनको नया सोफा हमने लेके दिया क्योंकि दे हैड अ बॉट अ न्यू हाउस। तो हाउस वार्मिंग पार्टी थी, उसमें एक भाई साहब अपना बेटा लेकर आए। वो बेटा दौड़ रहा है आगे पीछे, ढाश ढूंढ ये वो। मुझे कहता है जी, और मेरे दोनों बच्चे शराफत से जमीन पे बैठे हुए टीवी देख रहे हैं। उनको पता है कि यू डोंट रन अराउंड अ पर्सन्स हाउस, कहता है जी अशरफ साहब आपके बेटे इतने शरीफ हैं, मेरा बच्चा देखें क्या, अब आप ही बताएं मैं क्या करूं। मैंने बोला झापड़ मार के बेहोश कर दे। अच्छा, you know what, that guy didn't talk to me for 25 years. 20 साल बाद फिर उसने हमको घर पे बुलाया खाने पे, तो उसका बेटा वहां बैठा हुआ, उन्हें हम लोग कमरे में आए, उन्हें टांगे ऊपर रखी हुई मेज पे, बेसबॉल कैप उल्टी पाई हुई, और कहता है हाउ इज इट गोइंग। यार तू बदतमीज आदमी, मैं बुजुर्ग आदमी हूं, तेरे घर आया हूं, खड़े हो जा। नहीं, बैठा रहा उसी अपने माँ बाप को, कोई उसका बाप आया गया कुछ नहीं। उसके लिए मोहम्मद रफी ने उसके लिए भी गाना लिखा है, ले लो दुआएं माँ बाप की, ले लो दुआएं माँ बाप की, ओ सर से उतरेगी गठड़ी पाप की, ले लो दुआएं माँ बाप की। I mean these were values in those days जो अभी है ही नहीं। और फिर मैं कहता हूं ये लोग इतने कंजूस क्यों हैं, पैसा किधर लेके जाएंगे? Only the money that you spend is really yours. I'm not saying to spend it all. Yes, you have to have a certain amount of money in the bank for security to pay your bills. You can pile some of it up. But you see, once you've reached a certain level, the money after that is just sitting in the bank, waiting for you to die, so that somebody inherits it that is going to spend it twice as fast as you didn't spend it, because they didn't earn it. When Alexander the Great died, he said, when my coffin is rolled out on the streets, make sure my hands are outside, so people know that you don't take anything with you. उसके लिए भी मोहम्मद रफी ने गाना लिखा है, जाएगा जब यहां से कुछ भी ना पास होगा, ओ 2 गज कफन का टुकड़ा तेरा लिबास होगा, जाएगा जब यहां से ये ठाट बाट तेरी, ये ठाट बाट तेरी, ये आन बान तेरी, रह जाएगी यहीं पर ये सारी शान तेरी, इतनी सी है मुसाफिर, इतनी सी है मुसाफिर, ओ बस दास्तान तेरी, जाएगा जब। Anyway, but look at that, how incredible. All we have to do, कहते हैं ना कि भाई सिर्फ आप अगर मोहम्मद रफी के गानों पर ही अमल करें, आपकी जिंदगी संवर जाएगी, गरीबों की सुनो वो तुम्हारी सुनेगा, तुम 1 पैसा दोगे वो 10 लाख देगा गरीबों की सोना. Let me tell you about this thing. There's a thing in your brain which is serotonin, which gives you this incredible feeling of well-being. I mean, I can talk a little more about that, but I remember, when you give something without any expectations in return, nature has a way of returning it to you 1,000 times over. लाखों गुना. Just like Mohammed Rafi song. मैं कहता हूँ, मुझे याद है, मैं जब 12 साल का होता था तो कराची में हम लोग रहते थे, चांदमारी का पुल आप लोग जानते होंगे, PIDC हाउस के पास. उसके ऊपर एक भिखारी बैठा करता था, जिसकी टांगे नहीं थी, और मैं साइकिल पे चला के स्कूल जाया करता था, and I would feel so bad for the guy that anything that I had in my pocket, I would just give him. He had no legs. वो लकड़ी के गुटकों से चलता था, He would look up at me and say to me, Babu, खुदा किसी दिन तुम्हें इसका अजर देगा. This is the ajr. Even to this day, 16 years later, when I think about that, I get this warm feeling in my chest. And you have 1,000 such deeds that you do, you think about that, you have to be happy. Because you are, your constitution is built with a reward system. When you do something that nature intends for you to do, you are rewarded by a good feeling. Neki kar kuएं में डाल, or a good deed is the reward in itself. ये जो bonus points in heaven के इंतजार में रहते हैं ना, you don't have to wait to get your reward when you die. You will have your reward today because of your serotonin thing. When you're nice to somebody, if I do something nice for you, you feel happy, you get a serotonin rush. When I see that on your face, I get a serotonin rush. When a third person sees that, they get a serotonin rush. Game shows, people that do game shows, they know that. Why are game shows so popular? They're watching people win stuff. The person is so happy. The game show people, the audience, they get a serotonin rush because of that. That's why game shows are so popular, and people that create game shows know that. And this whole concept of empowerment that I talked about. Oxytocin. Oxytocin is the hormone that's generated in your brain by personal interaction. Like when we shake hands or we hug, we get that good feeling. I can do this on a webinar. But I hate doing webinars because there's no personal interaction. There's no oxytocin. I'd like to see you respond. In a webinar, you don't even know what the audience on the other end is doing. They could be sitting in the toilet, of all you know. It's a feeling that you get when you hang out with your friends. You hang out all day long, you do nothing, and you go home in the evening saying you had the most incredible time. That's because you're drunk with oxytocin. That's the reason why the ugliest baby that a mother creates goes home. She doesn't leave it in the hospital because she's completely drunk with oxytocin. It's nature's way. Human interaction. We're missing that. अब तो शॉपिंग भी हम करते हैं, इंटरनेट पे करते हैं. भाई हम तो पाकिस्तान में बोरी बाजार में शॉपिंग करते थे, आपको 20 रुपए मांग रहे हैं, you wanted it for 2 रुपए. You would argue, bargain. वो मैं जब अमेरिका आया, मुझे एक स्टेरियो नजर आया, $40 में जनाब, speaker or record player, radio. वो मैंने बोला $40 यहाँ आदमी कहाँ से बात करते हैं, कम कराते हैं डिपार्टमेंट स्टोर में. वो फिर मुझे एक नकल दी, देखो अमेरिका में नहीं होता है यूं, you know. But those were the things that gave us that oxytocin stuff, you know. And we're missing that. And that's why loneliness is a malaise of our time. Dopamine. These are all drugs. You know, all of you guys are drug addicts. When you're happy, you're high on those drugs. When you're unhappy, you're missing those drugs. Dopamine is a productivity drug. It's the feeling you get when you do something. Like you're looking for Google, searching something on Google, all of a sudden you find it, you get that feeling of euphoria. Oh, Milgia, I found it. The list of things that you have on Saturday morning that you have to do, you go tick marking them off. Every time you tick mark something, you get that feeling of accomplishment. You walk by the laundromat and say, oh, मैंने laundry से अपने कपड़े उठाने थे, but they are not on my list. You go in, you come out, you put it on your list and you tick mark it off. Because unless you tick mark, you don't get your dopamine. And these are addicting. These are just like other drugs. इसी वजह से workaholics पैदा हो जाते हैं, they're addicted to dopamine. इसी वजह से generosity, कई लोग अपनी पूरी दौलत दे देते हैं at the cost of your own non-well-being. And the third one, last one is endorphins. We all know that. See, you exercise, you get this feeling of euphoria. You exercise so much until your knees are all busted because you're addicted to endorphins. But next time you feel down, you just have to realize yourself, which part am I missing? And you just do that. But these are the kind of things that I learned by stepping out of my comfort zone. Or I just wanted to end with one thing. I had this friend, Khalid Tai, we would, बताया हम लोग गाना गाने जाते थे, तो उसका, we would go and we actually won an award for this song, so I wanted to sing that song for you in an NED competition. So it went something like this. मृदंग बाजे तिरकिति धूम ताता मृदंग बाजे तिरकिति ताता हो नाचते झूम झूम तथई ताता झूम झूम चाना झूम चाना राम दा काम धा धा मधुबन में राधे का नाचे रे मधुबन में राधे का नाच Ega rega gare maga pa ma da pa ni da da ni sa re sa ni da pa ma ba da ni sa re sa ni da pa ma ba ga ma de ba ga ma re sa madhuban mein radhe ka naache re sa sa ni da pa ma ba de ba ga ma re sa ne re sa ga ga ma sa ga ni sa de re ta da ni ta de re ta ka dum de re ta ka de re ta da ni ta de da ni sa o de na de da ni sa o de na de da ni sa da re di da re di da re di. Okay, now I told you this was a party, okay? So I have bought a whole bunch of gifts to be given away, but the ground rules are that we will invite somebody that is willing to entertain us, to step out of their comfort zone, all right? You can come and sing us a Katy Perry song, sing us a Muhammad Rafi song, some joke or some story, entertain us. I have a bunch of iPads for you, I got a bunch of Fitbits, and a whole bunch of other Katy Perry lipsticks. So think about it, and we'll do that at some point. But again, thank you so much for your attention. And above all, thank you for your friendship.